Hello, everybody, and welcome to your Friday Pick a Something with me, Intuitive Rene. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit fun, a little bit exciting, and I hope it's going to work out for you. So, what we're going to do is three very different readings using my casting sheet that I have across the bottom here. You need to choose between one of these three crystals. So, I'm going to record three readings, one for the clear quartz, one for the amethyst, and one for the malachite crystal. So the three readings I will do on the casting mat using my resin tarot, my mini resin tarot, and using charms. We're going to cast onto the mat. So the readings are going to be completely different. There's probably going to be no theme or kind of message that's a continuous message that's going to come through. It'll be three very different readings, and I'm hoping and I'm sure that the readings that you pick based on these three crystals will be exactly what you need to hear. So I have no idea what it's going to be. We're just going to record it and we're going to trust and hand over to Spirit, and Spirit will give whatever it is that you need to hear right here and now based on your choice of crystals. So Fridays or Fridays is when I like to do these kind of free readings for you. And you do know then on a Sunday as well, I do offer a week ahead reading, which you can get onto my channel. So if you haven't already done, please do consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do enjoy your reading today, remember to give the video a thumbs up. And as always, I love a little comment from you below. So as I said, all you need to do is decide which of these three crystals you are drawn to, which of these three crystals seems to hold a fascination for you or your eye keeps moving to, and let that be the crystal that has the reading for you. And then all you need to do is, if you look at open up the little description box below, there will be timestamps that will take you straight to that particular reading. So if, for example, you've chosen the clear quartz, you can just continue watching. This video will go straight into clear quartz first. But if you've chosen amethyst or malachite, then you don't want to watch the clear quartz. You can jump straight across to either of those two readings. And of course, if you want to watch all three, absolutely you are welcome to do so, because as I said, the three readings are going to be so completely different, and I'm sure you will get some kind of inspiration, some kind of guidance from each of the readings. All right, we're going to start with clear quartz. Right, so those of you who chose the clear quartz, welcome. We're going to do your reading now. I have got my casting sheet on the table, and this is a casting sheet that I created based on Vedic astrology houses. So each block that you see has got a keyword in it. So anything that lands in that block is to do with that keyword. And the way that we're going to do this today is we're going to start off with my resin tarot tiles. So these are custom made. I made them myself, and it is the full deck of tarot, but they are just put into resin so that I can throw them around without them getting all bent and broken. So I'm going to shuffle and I'm going to drop a couple onto the sheet, and we'll see where they land and interpret them, and then I will bring in my charms as well. Right, so again, I know I say it every time, but I'm going to do it again. For those of you who are sensitive to sound, when I shuffle these and when I shuffle the charms, it can be a bit loud. So if you are sensitive, you might want to mute the volume. And once I have finished casting, you can bring your volume back. Right, so let's get into the shuffling. Okay, so we have got quite a few that have landed. These two are off camera, and there is another one that's fallen way down the back there. I'm going to leave it as there. I'm not going to touch them. I want to do the charms now. So again, it can be a little bit noisy. This is not as noisy as the resin tarot tiles, but let's give it a shuffle and drop a couple of charms to see the reading. So I'm going to start shuffling now. Oh my gosh. Right. So one thing I can say is we have a lot of charms to read. I don't think I've ever had that many drop before, but it's certainly going to be interesting to read them. All right. So the first thing that we have to do, all right, so I'm not going to move any of the charms around. I'm not going to move any of the tarot tiles, but I do need to acknowledge that the four tarot tiles that are visible on the screen, remember this one over there, I don't know if you can see it, it wasn't visible, but these four have all landed face down, which means that they're to say that they're hiding themselves. Okay, they're hiding themselves, they're not being completely open and visible, so we don't know what they are yet. But I want to just have a look now. As I said to you, there is a lot of charms that are taking place here, so there's going to be a lot to say in this particular reading. This is the block of the self, all right, and it is block one. It is the first house, and it is the block of the self. So the other one that is also got quite a lot on is the block of home and family, which is block 4, or house 4 as it's called. So immediately what I take from this is that we need to be paying some attention to the self. We need to be paying some attention to the self and to home and family. You know, you can see there is something in career, there's something in partnership and in all of the others. But the big one here is the self and the home and the family. So all of you who chose the clear quartz crystal, this is spirit saying to you, it's time to pay attention to you. It's time to pay attention to heal yourself, to work on yourself and to improve yourself. This little charm that's all the way on the end here by itself is the charm of kindness. We've got sewing machine, we've got lotus leaf, we have got child, there's a mermaid, there is a horse, there is a angel wing, we've got a palm tree over here, there's a seahorse, there's a spider, there's a leaf made with love, we've got scissors, we've got snake, and we've got garden. All right, I think that's all the charms that I have listed. I'm not going to go through one by one because it will just be a little bit crazy and a little bit all over the place. But when I'm looking at what is inside the house of self, the first thing, as I said, is about taking care of yourself. We've got the sewing machine, which is mending. We've got kindness. We've got the lotus leaf, which is also about growth and development and progress. We've got a little bit of magic with our mermaid over there. The horse is about power. The horse is about movement. The horse is about majestic movements, if I can put it that way. We've got the angel, and it's interesting that the shape of the angel wing and the shape of the leaf to me are the same. We've also got the seahorse, and the seahorse does things a little bit differently to all other creatures in that the male is the one who gives birth to the babies. And then we've got the palm tree, which is about rest and recuperation. We've got the coat hanger, which is about just hanging around. So when I look at all of these that's got here, there's a clear message from Spirit to please take some time out for yourself. Take some time out to nurture your soul, to be kind to yourself, and to just give yourself a chance to be in the now, to be in the moment, and to enjoy life for what it is. Try not overcomplicate life too much. In house 3 over here, the house of communication, we have got an owl. So that is telling you to be very careful about what you're saying. Be very careful about the messages that you're giving. And I would also say to put a little bit of thought into what you're saying and into how you're saying it. Don't be so quick to open your mouth and speak. Be a little bit cautious about the kind of words that you're saying, the words that you're putting out there, and make sure that your communication is clear, simple, and uncomplicated. All right. The charm over here that rests between the home, family, and communication is the charm of the female, feminine energy. And again, feminine energy is about kindness. It's about nurturing. It's about taking care of. It's about looking after, okay, because that's what women do. The feminine energy is. Now, the charm that I find quite interesting and different from all of the others is the spider. So a spider is a fear. It is something that we're afraid of. It's the thing that we all try and avoid. Yes, there are those people like myself who really do enjoy spiders and enjoy finding them and looking for them. But for majority of people, the spider is something that we try and avoid. I also look at the way the spider is going. It's moving from the home, family towards the self. It's moving in that direction. And the message that I'm getting from the spider for you there is we have a lot of fears in life. There are a lot of things that we worry about, especially self-worry, okay? These things that you are concerned around for yourself. And what's happening is those fears are getting closer and closer because you're paying more attention to it. And when you focus on your fears, when you focus on the things that worry you and that you're anxious or nervous about, you almost feed energy to it. And when you feed energy to it, it becomes bigger and more significant, which is again why there are so many charms that have come through in that particular house. So the spider charm there is basically saying to you, the things that you think about, the things that you fear the most, because you fear them and because you're thinking about it, you are creating it, manifesting it, and making it come towards you and make it come real. I do think this is telling you to please take a little bit of time out, take a little bit of time to rest and recuperate your soul, your energy, and don't put too much pressure on yourself to do or to be or to exist. It's just about, hanging out and resting and being a little bit gentle with yourself. You are strong, you are powerful. There is a little bit of dose of magic, but it is about healing. Healing is the key word, and being kind to yourself. All right. In this block, or in this house here of home and family, we have got 2 tarot tiles lying face down. I am now going to turn them over because they are now the block that I want to talk about. So let's see. The first one we have, I have to laugh because it's everything that I just said. It's the Star card. I want to keep it sort of in its location because it was here by creativity and home family. So let's now move this other one, or turn this other one over. Okay, so it was sort of in that location. And what we've got there is the 6 of Wands. So home and family. So home is where the heart is. Home is the place where we're supposed to go at the end of the day, where we feel safe and where we feel secure, surrounded by people that we love, surrounded by people that make us happy, and where we can just sort of exhale and breathe. Okay, now in this, I think I moved our spider a little bit. In here, in this home and family block, we have a couple of things that are not so fantastic. We've got the fear of the spider. We've also got the fear of the snake. We've got the cutting out of the scissors. And we also have the garden, which is actually upside down. Let me turn it around. Okay, it even says my garden. We have got the Star card as far as the tarot goes, and the Star card is the card of renewal. It's the card of hope. It's the card of healing. So I do think that there are some troubles in the home area for each of you who have chosen the clear quartz crystal. We need to focus on you. Don't focus on the family. Don't focus on the problems and the challenges and the situations there, because everything just needs time to sort of settle. Okay, what you need to be doing is you need to be focusing on yourself and putting yourself so that you're happier, that you're more confident and more content in your own life. That is what's important. This 6 of Wands, it's very interesting. It's between partnership and home family. So I think this is talking about a connection that you have with your significant other. Now, when I say significant other, it doesn't necessarily have to be a husband or a wife or a partner. If you live with your mother, for example, if it's just the 2 of you, then she would be your significant other, because she's the other person in your home, in your family, who you are connected to closely. Okay. So this 6 of Wands is the card of, victory, of recognizing your achievements, recognizing how successful you have been. So again, we have a lot of fears in the home and family area. There are a lot of things, problems and challenges, but with regards to your significant other, there is progress. We also have this cross here, and the cross is, again, like the star. The cross is the card of hope. It's the card of renewal. It's the card of, it's this little symbol of knowing that everything's going to be okay. So whatever the challenges you have at home, I don't believe that they are connected to partnerships and relationships, but I do believe that the partnerships and relationships that you have, there's definitely improvement and success, but you do need to take care of yourself. Now, in between creativity and health, we have got a ballerina. So ballerinas are very I can't think of the word. They're very precise in their movements, but they're also very gentle with their movements, okay? And everything has got a very, like every single finger, hand, arm, leg, toe, everything has to be absolutely perfect in order for them to look as effortless and look as graceful as they can be. And I do think it's about being On purpose is the word that I'm hearing. It's about, in your creativity and with your health, with these two areas of your life, don't just let things happen on its own merit or on its own steam. You need to be very much in control and very specific in your movements and your actions in order to have the successful outcome that you're looking for. So if you have any health concerns at the moment, don't ignore it. Don't pretend that it's not significant. You do need to be very specific in your behaviors and your actions in order to overcome it. And even with your creativity, and I know with creativity, people generally say to you, just go with the flow and just let your creativity flow. But I do think this is saying, use what you know, okay? The movements and the steps and the behaviors that you know is what you need to stick with when dealing with anything on a creative level. So if you're trying to creatively solve a problem, don't just sort of, throw stabs in the dark and see what you can find out. Be very specific around your process, because that's what we have with the ballerina, to overcome, to fix, and to heal whatever it is that's blocking you. Okay, in house 8 over here, which is the house of change, we had one tarot tile, and this one, even though it's not really on the page, but it is in the vicinity, so it's not going to get as much significance, but we certainly are going to look at it. But let's have a look in the house of change. What is the tarot tile that came through? And what we have there is the 10 of Pentacles. I want to just turn this other one over as well. Okay, so I'm going to put it like that just so that you can see it, but that it doesn't come into house 8. 10 of Pentacles is the card of abundance. It's the card of having everything that your heart desires. This is the change that's coming. If you start paying more attention to yourself, if you start giving yourself a little bit more nurture, a little bit more taking care of yourself and less taking care of others, you're going to find your circumstances improving quite dramatically, especially around finances and especially around the things that mean something to you. And I know that because this card that we have over here is the 4 of Cups, which is the card of boredom, of disinterest, of not really wanting to have that experience. But because you've always been focused on other people, to now start being a little bit selfish and focusing on you can be a little bit out of character, can be a little bit weird. All right, I'm just going to put it that way. But the change that's coming for you, you've got to be open to it. Don't just sit there ignoring the opportunities, because the change that's coming is going to be quite massive. But in order for this to take place, you need to be open to accepting and receiving and taking the opportunities that come your way. And I know that feels very selfish. I know that feels wrong almost, but you need to work through that. Now, house 9 is the house of beliefs. Now, we're not talking religion here. We're talking about the beliefs of what's right and wrong. And the reason why I interpreted these two tarot tiles the way I did is because of the crow that we have here in the beliefs house. Because the crows, they really do. If they see something shiny, if they see something that they want, they're going to go in and they're going to take it. They don't care about the bird next to them. They don't care about, anybody else around them. They act on what they feel is right for them. And with these two tarot cards that have come through in the house of change for you, that's exactly it. And again, it is about focusing on yourself. It's about focusing on you more than your home, your family, and your partnerships. All right, then we have in house 10, in the house of career, we have this little smiley face. How cute is that? Smiley face is basically saying to you, career-wise, work-wise, everything's okay. If you have concern, this is telling you not to be worried. Everything is okay. Whatever the situation is, whatever the circumstances is, just know, have faith, trust, and belief, and know that everything is okay in the career. The big thing for each one of you now is this block here around the self. Be kind and gentle to yourself. It's time to start repairing and mending things that aren't really right for you or working for you. The lotus leaf that we have over here, a lotus leaf is something that grows out of the mud, and it has to struggle and fight and work its way to the surface. And when it gets to the surface and it opens up, it is the most exquisite and most beautiful thing you've ever seen. This child charm that I have over here is about, working with your inner child and allowing yourself to be nurtured, to be loved, but you have to do that to yourself. It's about loving and nurturing and taking care of your own inner child. We've got the palm tree for holidays and happiness and resting. We have got, I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm doing it anyway. We have got the seahorse. And the seahorse, you know, they are tiny, they are delicate. We've got tiny and delicate, we've got tiny and delicate, but they're also about just doing things a little bit differently and not worrying about other people's beliefs and perceptions around that. I'm going to put the mermaid by the seahorse because they're both sea creatures. Palm tree, sea creature, sea animal, sea thing. Oh, I see there was something behind there that I didn't actually notice. And I see what it is. Let's move our horse out of the way. Hold a second. Okay. Right, so we've got the horse, and if you look at the feet on the horse is moving, it's galloping. There's progress, so you need to progress and work on yourself. The charm that I hadn't seen before, excuse me, doing this, is the ship, and the ship goes around change. The ship is about movement and progress. And you know what? It doesn't matter how rough the seas get. It doesn't matter how rough the waters get. You have to persist, and carry on going. And it's interesting that the horse was on top of the boat, which means double movement, double action, double flowing. So it really is every single charm that is in this block of self, house one of self, is about taking care of you. You are made with love, and everything that you do needs to be made with love. You've got the angel wing, which tells you that spirit are there with you, protecting you around the house and the home, but it's not about the home and the family. It's about you. All right. So all of you who chose the clear quartz crystal, I do hope that this reading makes sense to you. I know I have rushed through it quite quickly. There is a lot going on here, but generally, oh, I didn't talk about this one. Off to the side here, it landed off camera, but the tarot tile is a major arcana of strength. And the major arcana strength is telling you that you are stronger than you realize. You have more strength, you have more courage, you have more conviction than you realize. And if you believe in your strength, and if you let your strength be your guide, your strength, your guide, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve, amazed at the change that you can bring to yourself, as long as you are open to the opportunities. And that's with this, see if you can see my hand that I'm pointing to, with this one over here. Okay, so this tarot tile that fell off the screen is really saying to you, you are stronger than you realize, but it is time that you nurture yourself. All right, friends, I do hope that you got something out of this reading, and I do hope that it speaks to your heart and soul. Wishing you everything of the best, and as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. All right, welcome to those of you who chose the Amethyst crystal as the reading that is the right one for you today. As you can see, I have my casting sheet on the table ready to use, and we're going to use the resin tarot tiles, and I'm also going to use my charms. I do like to just remind everybody that when I shuffle these and the charms, it can get incredibly noisy. So if you are sensitive to sound, you might want to mute the volume while I'm shuffling. And once I've dropped the tiles and once I've dropped the charms, you can put your sound back on again. So let's get straight into your reading and see what comes up for you. Right, so going to give a shuffle starting now. Whoops. All right, I'm now going to shuffle the charms. And as I said, this is not as loud as the resin, but it can still be quite loud. Let's give it a shuffle. All right. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we have. So we have a charm that has landed there. We have got a tarot tile over there. We've got another tarot tile over there. and then the others have landed on the mat. So there's a couple of similarities coming through between this reading and the one I did for the clear quartz, in that a lot of the stuff has landed up in these two houses. So there's definitely a theme developing there. I want to just bring these a little bit closer so that we can see them. So we've got that tarot tile and these two which are face up, and this one and these two are not face up. All right, oh wait, there's 3, 4 that are face up. So, and these 3 are not face up, so we'll turn them over when we need to get there. I am just going to turn them all around so that we can see what they are and where they are without trying to lose their locations too much. Right, putting that one there, and this one over here, we're going to move it like that. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we've got. We're going to start with house 1, which is the house of the self, and the first tile that we see here is the 5 of Wands, and the 5 of Wands is the card of chaos. It's the card of infighting and chaos and everybody just being against each other. We have got a charm of an angel, we have got a little parrot on a swing, we've got a hairdryer, we've got the book, and we have got the charm for feminine energy over here as well. So when, and also this one, this is in the subconscious, the house of 12, which is subconscious, and it is the card of renewal and hope. Oh gosh, you've got a bit of a glare there, so you can't really see it. Forgive the glare. But it is the card, the star card, which is the card of hope and renewal. See if I do that, it might be a bit better. All right, so in this house of self, basically what it's saying is you're in conflict with yourself, okay? You are struggling with yourself, you are fighting with yourself, you are going against yourself and your own beliefs and your own understandings. And it's almost like, all you want is I'm going to put it down to your self-confidence. And the reason why I say that is because we've got the feminine energy of nurture and taking care of. We've got the angel, which is there for guidance and support and love and understanding. We've also got the parrot here, which is where I get the confidence from, because parrot energy, parrots copy what we say. They're very confident in themselves. They don't care if they offend anybody. They don't care if they say something out of line, but they're also very beautiful. So on the outside, they are very beautiful and very attractive and very pretty to look at. And everybody loves the parrots until they start repeating all the bad things that we don't want them to repeat. We've got the hairdryer here as well. And, drying our hair is something we all do all the time, but we do it not only from a vanity point of view, but we do it to make sure that we look good. We do it to make sure that our hair cooperates and does what it needs to. So we've got a lot of things about the self-appearance coming through. This little book that we have here is the book of knowledge and the book of understanding. And the fact that it's pushed into the corner means that you know that you're being too hard on yourself. You know that you're being too self-critical. You're very aware of it, but you know what? So what? It is what it is. You are being extra hard on yourself. And this is Spirit saying to you, please, the fact that we've got the angel across the top there, this is Spirit saying, please, you don't need to be so hard on yourself. You need to be a little bit kinder, a little bit gentler, and a little bit easier on yourself. This star card that we have over there, and again, sorry for the terrible glare. I don't know where to put it where it's not going to have glare. Let's see if I move it over that way. If it helps. No, it doesn't really make any difference. But it was across the two, okay? So in the place of the self, it is about nurturing, renewal, and replenishing your own energies, and again, being kinder to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself all the time. I'm going to come to that one when I do the subconscious block. So I'm going to move that one over there. And in the wealth block, we don't have anything. In the house 3, I keep calling them blocks, but they're houses. In house 3, which is the house of communication, we do have this little cowboy hat. And again, the cowboy hat is about protection. That's what the hat's function is. The hat is there to protect you from the sun on your face and your neck and that kind of thing. And it is saying to you, be mindful of what you're saying and how you're saying it and who you're saying it to. Make sure that you have all your P's and Q's in place, okay? You want to make sure that you are speaking politely, speaking properly, and expressing yourself openly. Don't hold anything back. Don't let anything hide in the shadows. It is about putting it out there and expressing yourself, because it is about the communication. All right, in house 4 over here, which is the house of home and family, we have got a heart. We have got, I'm going to just turn it over, we have got a garden, and we have a crown. I don't know if you can actually see, but on the tarot tile, we have a crown that has appeared. So I want to turn the tarot over and see what it is as well, because it will help us with the interpretation. It is the Moon card. All right, the Moon card. So home and family, house 4. There is a lot of love that is taking place. There's a lot of protection. You've got protection from the angel there, and you've got protection from the hat here that was in the 2 places. The Moon card is saying to you about facing fears and recognizing the things that aren't initially obvious, okay, but understanding that we need to get a little bit outdoors. We need to go out of our security or out of our comfort zones. We've got the crown here, and the crown is about leadership, it's about superiority, it's about being in control, in charge, but it's also a hat, okay? So we've got the 2 hats coming through, which is also about protection. So it's about status, stature, it's about that, but it's also about facing the things that you fear the most, but knowing that there's a lot of love and a lot of happiness within the home area. You are being too hard on yourself at the moment, which is impacting and affecting your family and the role that you play within your home and your family. Off to the side here, we have a charm that went flying, and it is in the house of creativity, even though it was outside of that, and it is the sewing machine. So it's about mending and preparing and repairing. And again, I do think it's got to do with your own self-confidence, your own belief in yourself, and the way that you are super hard on yourself, which is impacting your ability to communicate and your family, and obviously affecting your creativity. All right. As we come into, there was nothing in house 6. In house 7, which is the house of partnerships, we have got the tarot card of justice. There's also this one which is face down. We'll turn it over in a minute. But the justice card is very interesting, because the justice card is about doing what's right. It's about recognizing that right behavior will be rewarded, bad behavior will be punished, okay? It's about understanding the rules and understanding the procedures and understanding the things that need to take place. Looking at the fact that justice sits between career and partnerships is also quite relevant and quite appropriate, because what it's basically saying is there may be an important connection between somebody you partner with. Now, just a note on partnerships, it doesn't always represent romantic partnerships. This could be business partnerships, this could be relationship partnerships, it could also just be the relationship that you have with a friend, a colleague, a business acquaintance, or a something. But there is something where we are, and let's get a little bit clever with our words here, where we are crossing the line, okay? There is a line being crossed between career and somebody you're connected to, and this is spirit saying to you, just make sure that you're doing the right thing. Make sure that you're not doing something wrong, because if you're doing something wrong, it's going to come back and bite you. And looking at your self-esteem, looking at the way that you are being super hard on yourself at the moment, I can understand why you would be tempted to cross a line. Okay. And again, when I'm talking about crossing a line, I'm not talking about intimacy. I'm not talking about romantic relationships. You know, sometimes we do somebody a favor thinking it's going to get us in a good place with them, but actually doing them a good favor could be breaking a rule somewhere along the line, which could come back and bite you. So this is what spirit are acknowledging. But let's have a look and see what this tarot is, because that might give us a little bit more insight. Because this tarot, it's not so much in the change block, but it's certainly in beliefs, career, and partnerships. It's sort of, to me, it's like it's sitting across those 3. Aha. So it is the 5 of Cups, and the 5 of Cups is the card of disappointment. So this is definitely confirmation from spirit that because you are feeling you're being super hard on yourself, and you're fighting and you're in conflict with yourself, and your self-esteem and your confidence is a bit low. So when somebody asks for a favor, or when somebody says to you, hey, you know, do me a solid, you're tempted to do it, even if it's breaking a rule or 2, because you feel like you want that confidence boost. But this is spirit saying to you, be careful, because it's definitely going to come back and bite you. So whenever you watch this video, whenever you receive this message and this reading, stick to your beliefs, stick to what you know is right, stick to what you know is not is the right thing to do. Don't cross any lines, even though it creates a bit of conflict within yourself. Okay. And then with our subconscious across the top here, we have got a tarot tile upside down. We have got this one that came up face up, and we have got the star card, which is bridging or crossing the line between the self and the subconscious. The star card is the card of renewal. It's the card of hope. It's the card of replenishing energies. And what we have across the top there is the Two of Pentacles, which is the card. Oh, you can't even see it. My bad. Forgive me. Let me bring it a bit closer. You still can't see it because of the glare. Right, let's do this. Okay, there you can see it. Two of Pentacles is the card of finding balance. Look how rough the seas are behind him. Okay, you can see that the waters are quite crazy and quite rough behind him. He's standing on one leg and he's trying to balance these two discs across him. So he is trying to find balance even though the waters and everything are quite rough. So again, this goes to your subconscious. It goes to the way that you are so hard on yourself, the way that you are being super crazy chaotic with yourself and your self-esteem and all of those kind of things. Our last one that we're going to have a look at is this tarot tile that landed face down. Now, interesting, it seems to be falling into the block of social a little bit. Social and your subconscious. So let's turn it over and see what we've got. Oh, look at that. Six of Cups. Six of Cups is saying, you know what, I just want to go back to a time when life was simple and easy. I don't want the chaos. I don't want the conflict. I don't want the troubles. I don't want the difficulties. I want simple, easy, and uncomplicated in my life. But, the reality is that's not always possible. That's not always an option that's available to us. So, friends, for those of you who chose the Amethyst crystal, this is Spirit saying to you, please be very mindful of how hard you are being to yourself. Be mindful of your confidence levels and where they're at, because it definitely seems like your confidence is quite low. You need to do everything that you can to feel good, to look good, to just recognize that you are actually somebody quite substantial. It is about finding that balance. And with the home and the family, situation that you have, it's time to just elevate things to another level, but understand that there is protection. There is that kind of authority around the situation, and career-wise, business-wise, work-wise, and don't do anything that goes against your beliefs. All right? Because if you do anything that goes against your beliefs, I do think it's going to come back and bite you. And the concern that we have is because your confidence is low and because you're not feeling as self-assured as you should be, it's easy to fall victim to this. And this is definitely a warning from Spirit that you shouldn't be doing that. On a social level, yeah, life used to be simple, easy, and uncomplicated, but it's not like that today. And this is the card of reminiscing. This is the card of thinking back to the way things used to be and almost wishing for it to get there. The Star card is really the one that I really want to focus on, because the Star card is the one that says to you, it's going to be okay. As long as you are putting the energy into healing and to recovering and to being kinder to yourself, everything's going to be okay as long as you find that balance. All right. So friends, this is a very interesting reading, and I do think it's actually quite a I'm really losing my words today. Quite a strong message, okay? Because we have to face some hard truths within ourselves and with what's going on in our lives. And if we don't do that, you're the only one who's going to suffer. Nobody else is going to suffer except you. And you are being very, very hard on yourself at the moment. And I understand that sometimes there's a reason for that. But don't let that cause you to get stuck in a situation that you don't want to be in. All right. So friends, I do hope that this reading helps you. I do hope that it gives you the guidance and the inspiration that you need in your life right now. And as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. And welcome to those of you who chose the Malachite crystal as the crystal that you were drawn to give you the message that you need to hear today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I have got my casting sheet on the table, and this casting sheet is I created it based on the Vedic Astrology houses. So you can see we have the 12 houses and keywords in each one. And today we're going to be working with my resin tarot tiles and we're going to be working with my charms. So I am going to shuffle the resin tiles first, and then we will do the charms, and I will cast them onto the mat. I do always want to just give a warning that when I shuffle these, especially the resin, the tarot, the charms not so much, but the tarot tiles can be quite noisy while I'm shuffling. So when I am shuffling them, if you are sensitive to sound, please do mute your audio, and you'll see once I've dropped them on the table, you can bring your sound or your volume back in. So let's get straight into your reading and see what is the message that Spirit have for you today. So I'm going to start off by shuffling the tarot tiles. All right. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4 tarot that have landed, and there's another one that's way over there on the table, which I will bring forward shortly. We've got 2 that are visible and 2 that are face down. We're going to leave them as they are, and we're now going to do the charms. So again, the sound of the charms shuffling can be a bit loud. It's not as loud as the tarot tiles, but it can be. So let's shuffle and drop and see what comes through for you. Okie dokie. I have finished shuffling and finished casting the tiles and the charms. We do have a charm that's landed there and there off screen. I do want to fetch the tarot tile that's gone way to the other side of the table. So excuse me stretching over, and I'm just going to put it there for now so that I don't forget to look at it. While I was shuffling the charms, we had one that sort of really jumped out of the dish and landed all by itself, and I'm going to just put it over there so that we can see it, and it is the horse. All right, so we've got charms all over the place. I do think we've got quite a nice even distribution, and again quite a few charms that have come through. We're going to start in house 1, and then we will sort of work our way all the way around to the subconscious, and then sort of bring it all into each other. So we've got 2 tarot tiles that have landed face down. They're both in the house of the self, so I need to turn them over and have a look at them, and then we will have a look at, well, there's only really the 2 charms that are in this one plus the little horse that's there, but let's turn the tarot tiles over and see what we have. Okay, so we have got the 5 of Swords and we have got the 4 of Cups. I know there is a bit of a glare there. I do apologize, but I don't want to move that tile because it needs to be on the border of the subconscious and the self. And the horse that landed on top of it, I need it to be there as well. Let's actually try that. Let's swap them around and see if that doesn't help the glare. Not really, but I think it is maybe just a little bit better. Actually, let's try that. There we go. I think that's okay. So in the house of the self, what we have over here with the 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords is the card that says to you, sometimes you have to do something that you don't particularly like. Sometimes you have to do things that you don't really gel with or that you don't feel good about, but you have to do it anyway. And the fact that the horse landed on it, I do think is telling you there is something in your life at the moment that you're hesitating about. Something that you have to do, but you're not sure if you want to, you're not sure if it's the right thing to do, you're hesitating about it. And the fact that our horse, our running, galloping, moving horse landed on top of it, this is Spirit saying to you, it's time to get a move on. Okay, it's time to get a move on. It's time to start getting proactive in doing this thing that you are procrastinating and putting off for the longest time. It is absolutely time that you do. Now, in this house of self as well, we do have the little Cupid here. And you know what Cupid does? Cupid is the shoots arrows of love in order to bring about those energies around you. So I do think it's telling you that you need to start learning to love yourself, because if Cupid was here or here, I would say it's about bringing in a new relationship or bringing in a new energy, romantic energy, but it's not. It's here in the house of the self. And the fact that we've got this Four of Cups, which is the card of boredom and disinterest and just sort of like being about life. And you know what happens is when you, let's say for example, and I know I've used this example before, but I'm going to do it again. So let's say for example, you own a ice cream factory. You bought an ice cream factory because you have this absolute love of ice cream. So the first time you start working in the factory or start working the business, you're so excited because you love ice cream and you're passionate about ice cream. But after 20 years of making ice cream, the last thing you want to do is eat ice cream. Okay, and that's what this card is about. It's saying that, you know what, you have so much and you're so used to it, and it used to be exciting and it used to be wonderful and it used to be everything your heart desires. But now, when somebody offers you an ice cream, you're like, oh, really? Do I really have to eat ice cream? Because you have so much of it. And that's where this disinterest comes in. And I do think this is around you. This is around the self. This is spirit saying to you that you sort of have given up caring or taking care of yourself, looking after yourself, doing things that bring you excitement. You have almost fallen out of love with yourself because it's a constant thing that you do. So, if you, for example, and for ladies who are watching or listening right now, gents, forgive me for a second, unless, of course, it is relevant to you. But let's just say talking about putting on makeup every day. It's something you do every single day. So every day when you do it, we become almost robotic in the process. We don't put energy and enthusiasm and passion into what you're doing. And that's really what I'm picking up. And there is something that you need to do for yourself and you're putting it off, and this is spirit saying it's time to get on with it. And even though you think, well, like, what's the point? What's the point? Just do it anyway, because it's going to bring you new enthusiasm and excitement, love, and passion into it. Now, we have another charm over here, which has landed upside down. So from this point of view, or from this angle, it just looks like an empty dish. But I want to turn it over and see what's on the other side. It's got to do with your eyes. You can see on the other side of it, we have a single eye. The eye of the self. It's the way that you view yourself, the way that you look at yourself. This is where this disinterest is coming from. And you need to start focusing on recognizing and acknowledging the beauty that you have. But there's definitely, so I'm going to say, looking at these two over here, the tarot tile and the charm that we have, if you've been thinking about a haircut or changing your physical appearance, this is spirit saying get on and do it. Don't worry about the outcome, or don't worry about, how it may turn out. This is saying either that or it's time to get new glasses. Let's take it literally. But spirit is saying, please, you're not paying as much attention to yourself as you used to or as you should. And it's definitely something that you've been putting off for the longest time. It's time that you get on and do it. Alrighty. House 2 is the house of wealth, and in there we have a Chinese coin, and it is the coin of luck, of success. So this is saying, for all of you who chose Malachite crystal as the message, this is saying that you've certainly got luck on your side at the moment with regards to finances. Okay, so do with that whatever you wish, but understand that there is definitely, if you can be kinder to yourself, if you can learn to love yourself and appreciate yourself a little bit more, there's certainly opportunity for success. But that opportunity for success is not going to happen automatically. You need to work with it. Don't go and do anything different. Okay, so in other words, what I'm saying with this is, don't think now that you can go and buy a lotto ticket and you will win. This is spirit saying to you, if you've always worked hard for your money, continue working hard and you will find the money comes easier. That's what this is saying to you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to change. If you always buy lotto tickets, continue to always buy lotto tickets. All right. But there's definitely success and luck is on your side as long as you continue doing the things that you have always done. Okay. In this house of communication, house 3 of communication, we had the royal crown, which had fallen off to the side. And you know what? The royal crown is about proper communication. expressing yourself properly and not just whatever you're thinking and feeling. It's about understanding the right thing to say at the right time, etc. So it's about getting back into touch with your communication methods, styles, and processes, and recognizing that sometimes, even if you are really upset or angry, sometimes you have to suck it in. Sometimes you have to hold that demeanor and you have to keep yourself in check without just expressing your feelings. So it is about being very considerate and proper. That's the word I use. I'm going to use air quotes. Proper in your expressions and your communications. It's something that you need to do. Right. The house of home and family. Let's have a look and see what we've got. So we have got my charm that represents child. We have got a flower, we've got an angel, and we have got another round disc. Now, the interesting thing around the home and the family, house 4, is all 4 of these charms have landed upside down. They're all facing the wrong way. So I'm going to turn them all over, and then we're going to see what that means. So we have the child, we turn it over. We have the flower, we have the beautiful angel, and on this side, it says never, never give up. Never, never give up. All right, so friends, house 4 is about the home and the family. When I look at the 4 charms that we have in this area, I do think it's telling you that we need to lighten the load at home. We need to lighten the energy at home. We need to bring in a little bit of fun and playfulness. This is spirit recognizing that there are challenges, difficulties, and things like that in the home environment, that there are challenges, but don't give up. Don't ignore it. The fact that it's turned face down is the thing that we do when we're ignoring a situation. And Spirit is saying it could also be a problem around children, okay? But whatever the challenge is around home, and the reason why I say that is because I suddenly noticed this charm over here. So the challenge could be around the family, or the children within the home, and Spirit is saying don't ignore it. And it's interesting because there seems to be a lot of ignoring coming through here, and this is definitely a nudge from Spirit. Time to get busy, time to get going, and time to get doing. Whatever the problem is at home, whatever the challenge is, don't ignore it. It's definitely time to turn everything face up, to face it honestly, to not give up. This angel charm over here, first of all, it really is a beautiful angel. And I do want to say to you that she is the angel of healing. I have got quite a few in my charm collection here. I do have quite a few angel charms, and for example, there lies one right over there. So I have got quite a few angel charms, and when I create my charm set, each charm has a particular interpretation, and this particular angel is the charm of healing. So somewhere at home there is a problem around health and well-being, and even though we've got health here which has come up empty, this is because it's not your health, it's somebody else. Don't give up, stay strong. There's healing and health that's taking place, but we do need to tackle it. We do need to face it. We cannot ignore it any longer. The fact that we have got the child charm, and then here in the house 5 of creativity, we have got a pram, is saying to you, it's time to get your inner child out. So if you know about inner child work, if you have any kind of knowledge or understanding, this is definitely a good time to do some inner child work, to do some playing, to do some creative, messy play, because I do think some creative, messy play, child play, is exactly what you need to just shift the energy, to just move you into another place. Okay, so house 6 is empty. We don't have anything in house 6. House 7, which is the house of partnerships, we have got 2 tarots that have landed. We have got this one over here, which is the 7 of Wands. And up here, I'm going to just shift it over a little bit. We have the Ace of Swords, 7 of Wands and Ace of Swords. 7 of Wands is the card of being defensive. Okay, it's the card of saying that you've got your guard up and you're being very protective and very defensive of your situation. The fact that it's come through here in partnerships is saying that there is a connection that you have with somebody. It may be a relationship, a personal romantic relationship, or it could be somebody at work. It could be a boss, it could be a job, it could be any kind of relationship that you have with another person where you are being defensive. You have got your guard up and you're being very cautious about what's taking place there. I do think the fact that we have that Ace of Swords connected to the career and partnerships, I do think it's got to do with somebody at work. So this partnership you're on edge, you've got your defenses up, and you're guarding yourself around somebody or a situation at work. Ace of Swords is saying that there's a new idea brewing, okay? There's a new way of tackling it. There's a new way of handling it. And I have to chuckle because we've got this octopus charm over here around the career. We've got a snake across the top. We've got the octopus around partnerships and career and this new idea. So the way that I interpret this, being defensive is not getting you anywhere. Okay, trying to stop the person, trying to resolve the matter the way that you are is not getting you anywhere. The situation is actually just getting worse and worse and worse. And I do think it goes back to what we were saying over there and over there. So you are being overly defensive. Spirit is saying that you've got a new idea on how to tackle it or how to resolve it, and actually it's time to do that. Octopus, if you think about an octopus, they have 8 legs, and each one can do something completely different. So it's almost like when you're expecting them to use these two, they bring out and use others. There's also the whole, squirting ink to hide their disappearance or to hide themselves so that they can disappear. We've also got the snake, which is about reactions, quick reactions and quick turnaround. Whenever I see the snake in a reading, a snake is something that when we see it, it gives you instant fright, instant scare, and immediately the snakes move quickly. We move quickly when we see the snake, when we encounter the snake. The effects the snake has on us is something that happens very quickly. So I always see the snake as something that gets that adrenaline pumping quickly. Okay, so the situation that you're being overly defensive about or cautious around, or you've got your guard up, the situation can change quite quickly as long as you follow through with that new idea. Okay, so this person, the significant other in your life, again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could just be a work colleague, a boss, or even a relationship or partnership between you and your employer, the company. You're defending yourself. You need to follow through with that new idea, catch them off guard, and let it happen quickly. And the outcome of that is going to be really, really positive. Okay, so we have another charm that's landed up in that corner, and to me, I'm seeing it bridging the gap between, or bridging the line, or crossing between the subconscious and the social. And this particular charm, if I just bring it a little bit closer, is the charm that I use to represent clouds. So what do clouds do? First of all, clouds block out the sun. Clouds bring rain. They bring a cooler weather, cooler temperature, and they almost give everybody the chance to just stop squinting their eyes against the harsh sun. So they can bring a bit of protection, a bit of cover. They also bring a little bit of rain to wash out the negative, to wash out the problems, to wash out the challenges, but they can also bring disaster. Okay, so and it's interesting, the way that I'm interpreting it is because of the tarot tile that we have here that went flying way across, and I'm going to bring it into house 12, which is the house of subconscious. What we have over here is the 9 of Swords, which is the card of anxiety, stress, worry, all of those kind of energies. Okay, and the 9 of Swords, I want to bring it. It was in, like I said, it was above the subconscious. We've got the cloud coming through in our social and our subconscious. And I do think, friends, for all of you who chose the Malachite crystal, this reading is basically saying to you that you are your own worst enemy. And that ties into what we were saying over there. You are very protective and defensive with yourself and with everything that's going on around you. And it's time that you face that. It's time that you actually recognize that the clouds are not always bad. Every cloud does have a silver lining, and every cloud does bring something positive into your life. And it's got to do with your interaction with other people, which is what we had over here as well, and what we had with the communication. So this cloud around the subconscious and the social is definitely saying to you, it's time to just venture beyond your current realm of confidence or security or comfort. Step outside of your comfort zone and face your fears, face your stresses, and face your anxieties, because you're making them worse in your head than what they really are. When you have an activity planned for the weekend, an outdoors activity, and as soon as we see one cloud, we go, oh my gosh, that's it, it's going to rain, it's going to be a disaster, and we immediately jump to worst case scenario. And this is Spirit saying to you, don't do that. Don't allow yourself to jump to worst case scenario, because it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. Be very aware of the communications and be honest with yourself around what's going on, and don't allow yourself to be overly defensive. Okay, so out of the 5 tarot cards that we drew or that landed for you, out of the 5, 4 of them are about changing your perceptions, your angles, changing the way you perceive things, and recognizing that things aren't as bad as you make them out to be or that you think they are. It's about following through with that idea, following through with that, the idea that you have to make some changes and to catch people off guard. And if you can do that, you're going to turn your whole life and your whole circumstance and situation around. All right. So, friends, that was also quite a deep reading indeed, but I do think it was relevant and appropriate, and I hope that you can connect it to your life in one way or another. That's all I have to say for you. So, as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.